Well, 36, where does it come from? I moved over to Ireland about 2 years ago, and prior to that I was not really playing, to tell you the truth. I'd become very engaged in other stuff, because I sort of got almost bored with playing live, and when I came to the island, I sort of really started to get the feeling again. And it was TT, not this year but the year before, where I saw some live bands and bumped into some people, and it sparked me off again. And I'd been writing songs for about 12 years on and off after that, before that I should say, and I just wanted to record them, and that's it. Well, actually finding the musicians was one of the easiest parts for the album, because I knew a lot of session players who I'd worked with in the 70s, 80s and 90s, and I called one or two of them up, and they were very keen to do it for me, because it's unusual now that an artist will actually use proper musicians in a studio, because it's very expensive to do, you know. It's a lot more difficult recording live instruments. So I called one or two of the guys up, and they knew other people, and I've ended up having a great band, you know. I mean, some very esteemed musicians indeed, far better than me, which is good, you know, because you surround yourself with excellence. It's never a bad thing. But anyway, yeah, so it was pretty easy. Well, the way that I went about recording it and arranging it, I'd actually got an idea of the tracks, obviously the structure of the tracks, etc. But I'm a great believer in actually letting the musicians choose their own path when it comes to playing them. And I had sort of ideas, and I sort of illustrated some of the ideas, but the way that they interpreted them was down to them, because after all, they're playing it, and if they're not comfortable playing in a certain way, you're not going to get a great result. So I think the reason why the result's been good is the fact that they've done what really they wanted to do, just around sort of a loose structure. And actually, as the whole album developed, I ended up changing my guitar parts, etc., and vocal parts on the basis of what they'd already done, you know, which was absolutely fantastic. A collaborator or a dictator in the studio? Well, I'm pretty clear about what I want about the sound I want to create and the tracks, but the actual parts I left up to the guys. There were some ground rules I laid down, like we weren't going to EQ anything before as we were recording it. We didn't use any compression or anything like that. We just used mic placement to get the best sound. So I suppose I laid the shit down a bit, I suppose, but the way I work is that I tend to let everybody get on with it, and then there's a final decision to make. I'll make the final decision, and that's it. So, you know, so I suppose it's a mixture of both. A benevolent dictator. That's the best way to describe it.